Heading into the second enclosed garden, and this is sort of a wide view of it. And that's my greenhouse. And on the outside I have two more containers here. These are my Yukon Gold potatoes. They're doing really well too. And in front of them are some raspberry plants that I uprooted. I forget when I uprooted them, early this spring. I'm going to move those to my Virginia house in the fall. So if we go into the garden here, my makeshift gate that my husband built for me, I have two containers here. These are grow bags of sweet potatoes. And those are, for the most part, Beauregard, and then there's one more, and I can't tell you exactly what it was because now I forget. I would like to train these sweet potatoes up a trellis on the greenhouse. That's my plan. And then this grow bag is red potatoes. Those I planted much later than the Yukon Golds, which is why they are so much smaller. For the first time, I decided to try Kentucky Wonder pole beans because I read a lot about gardening, and one of the things is that pole beans are more prolific than bush beans, and we shall see. These are Kentucky Wonder pole beans, and a couple of these I believe I grew inside, but I started them sort of late. Of course, I'll do that differently this next year, and I am tying them to these bamboo poles. And I have a whole bunch of buckets in here filled with all different kinds of vegetables. I try to keep the hot things together and the sweet things together. I don't know if that matters in terms of pollination, but we'll see. And then I have a couple mix of tomatoes that didn't go in the other garden that you can see here. Those are some more pole beans. And some more peppers. And then this is the strawberry tower that I built out of pop bottles. And this is actually really, really awesome. I don't know that I'll keep doing this just because it's kind of clunky, but I came up with an idea this morning that I think will make this even better next year. So stay tuned for that next year, but the strawberries are looking fabulous. Look at these. These are Albion strawberries. So those will probably be picked tonight. So I have more peppers here. This tomato is just very, very sad. This plant has looked pretty much sad since I planted it. It's growing like crazy, but its leaves just, I don't know. This is a yellow tomato. Golden King of Siberia, I believe, is what it's called. We'll see how it does. Next to that, I've got more pole beans, tomato back there, another pepper, and then these smaller tomato plants here, those are from Virginia, and I will be building a device to sort of hold those up and when they get a little bit bigger. Back here, I have cucumbers growing on our homemade trellis. So last year, I had a 4-foot garden fence that deterred pretty much nothing. Well, it deterred rabbits, but that was about it. The deer jumped over the fence all the time, looked at me and laughed, and ate all of my stuff. So I'm going to try to grow vertically. This is the first time I've ever tried to grow cucumbers, but since none of us like cucumbers, I will be making pickles out of them, and they seem to be pretty happy over here. Back in the blue bowl back there, I've got 4 different types of sweet peppers. And here I have watermelon. This is crimson sweet watermelon. Again, growing up a pretty tall trellis. And then when it starts to fruit, I will be putting the fruit inside a leg of nylons and tying the nylons to this galvanized fencing or the wood that goes across, just depending on how close it is, so that the watermelon can grow undisturbed. And of course I'll make videos about that when it starts to fruit. So I've got a couple of plants back in that yellow bucket, and then some more watermelon over here. I have one more really tall trellis, it's not finished yet, And I've got orange glow watermelon and ananas melon. And that is a blueberry right here, a pink lemonade blueberry. And on the other side I have more blueberries. So here I have a Blu-ray blueberry, and then several others over here. My Patriot blueberry is definitely looking sad. I'm not sure what its problem is. Blueberries take a while to really start producing, and I probably won't get fruit from these until next year. And what you see around in the background, these are fruit trees. These are dwarf fruit trees. I have, I believe that one there is an apple, I think Golden Delicious, and then that back there is a peach tree, and then this one is a dwarf peach tree also. That one seems to be doing really well, but I've gotten absolutely nothing in terms of flowers, which means I probably will not get any fruit this year. I planted them a year and a half ago, and we'll see. That tree right there is not a dwarf, it's a Honeycrisp apple tree. Last year it did have flowers on it, which meant I probably would have gotten fruit, but the deer ate them all. And I didn't get fruit, and I was really angry. The deer also ate these trees, which is why I put up that sort of not very attractive fencing in the background, which is metal poles that are 6 feet tall, they're 2 feet in the ground, and high density fishing line to deter the deer from getting in this garden. And this is another Honeycrisp apple tree, but it is a dwarf, and I think this one might have some issues. I really don't know enough about fruit trees to be able to tell you what the problem is. And finally, in this garden, this is a raised asparagus bed. And you can see 2 asparagus spears that came up. I planted some 1-year-old asparagus crowns in here and some 2-year-old asparagus crowns. And the 2-year-old crowns are the ones that probably sent up the asparagus shoots already, which I was really excited about. I did sprinkle some annual flower seeds in this bed just to give it something other than dirt. And those annuals are starting to grow. I have a strawberry planter there, and some dill and some spearmint to make it all come together. So this is my second garden, middle of June 2016, and I really love sitting on that swing and looking at my garden.